Hi, I'm Ozar, and today I want to talk to you about the plague. Of course, I'm talking about Pathologic 2, the remake of a cult classic game from 2005 from the Russian developer Icepeak Lodge, which released last month. Oh, another Russian game about the plague, and it's a visual novel? Guess I should review that one. Okay, let's talk about Sanator, Scarlet Scarf. In the game we follow Richard Murdock, a somewhat stoic fellow from the Brotherhood, an organization keeping justice and order in the land. His job title is a Sanator, which means he deals with diseases, while other brothers handle criminals, evil spirits, etc. That doesn't mean that Richard doesn't get to deal with spirits as well. There are plagues which are not the work of some bacteria, but of souls seeking revenge. And dealing with those is a lot harder, since the disease cannot be contained or cured until the spirit itself lets go. Indeed, it is more of a detective work. As you can see, the game features a bit unusual user interface, with one side of the screen filled with narration and illustrations on the opposite side. It looks a bit like a book, which is something the game is really going for. For one, it is rather text-heavy, which I didn't really mind because of the illustrations and the music, which is really excellent. The writing itself isn't quite, but it works, and I don't mind some hiccups and the trigger-happy way it uses the dictionary. It also feels like a book on a more fundamental level. It has a rich world. When the character of Anger appears in the middle of the story, it adds another dimension to everything, and I was curious about her history with Richard and how does her plane of existence even work. Unfortunately, unlike the fantasy saga it conjures up, Sanator Scarlet Scarf is actually about an hour-long game, so the roots of an epic story are cut short. I found the endings sudden and some of the choices even confusing, as it wasn't properly foreshadowed what they imply, so it was a bit like, oh, and then he spent the rest of his life doing this. Alright. Curiously, much of the world building doesn't feature in the game proper, but you can read about it to your heart's content in the in-game Wikipedia. Because I couldn't make sense of it, I set out to learn more about how Sanator was created. An early version of the game was released in 2014 by the Ignis Sanat group as their entry for any visual contest, which I understand is kind of a Russian NaNoRenO, a game jam. The lore itself comes from Domus at Animae, which is an RPG world setting also from Russia, but developed by a different group, the Black Gnome Studio. As I don't speak Russian, I wasn't able to dig deeper, but I did learn that the Russian word for tabletop games is nastolki, which sounds really cute. So, in summary, Sanator Scarlet Scarf is an interesting game that is unfortunately plagued by some issues, mainly its short length, which doesn't really let the complex environment and the characters shine as much as they should have. And honestly, I was expecting the game to be a bit longer for the price, so maybe wait on a sale on this one. I still think it's worth playing, and Ignis Sanat, the developer, marked this as a series on Steam, so perhaps we'll see more from this world, and honestly, I'm looking forward to that. And that's it for this video. If you liked it, leave the thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing so that you don't miss the next one. And I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.